Hello, and welcome to the chaos. And this week we are going to actually be setting up an herb garden inside, which was really fun. It has grow lights and everything, so I can just have all of my herbs inside versus outside, because that does not really hold up here where I live, where it gets very, very cold very, very fast. So I figured I would take you guys along with me for the ride or for the setup, and then as I'm planting, I'm gonna do a little Q&A, because why not? So I will see you guys over there. Hi. So I figured I would sit down and do kind of a Q&A while I was planting, because otherwise it would just be, a time lapse of over probably 2 minutes. I got a lot to plant. And I figured this would be a little more entertaining, and I could get to know you guys a little bit, or let you guys get to know me a little bit. So I asked on Instagram for questions and didn't get any, so I found some online instead. And I guess since she decided to make herself known, I'll start with the do you have any pets? And the answer to that is yes. This is my dog, his name is Brave. And he is a husky who is 5. Are you 5? I think you're 5. And this is Yori. This is my aunt's dog who I babysit on during the days while she's at work. So I'm gonna count her too, because she's here a lot. And then I also have a baby corn snake, and her name is Cinder. She's a couple months old, not even a year old at this point, so she's still baby. So I guess we'll start with sage. And I got these little planters, these ones, from on Amazon. They're the Ohuhu brand. They're the same ones that do the alcohol markers that everyone really, really likes that I haven't tried yet, that I want to try. So the next question on this list is, do you have any tattoos? And if so, yeah, what are they? Obviously that answer is yes. I have 7 tattoos. I have 2 on my arm, 3 on my arm. No, this is dirt, guys, you don't want it. It's dirt. I have 3 on this arm. Back up, baby. Back up. I love you. 2 on my leg, 1 on my collarbone, and 1 on my other leg. Guys. So I have the 3 on my arm, so I guess I'll start there. I have this one that I got done in Bend at Monolith Tattoos by Keisha last year, and I really like it. It's a little more expensive than what I was planning on spending, but I'm okay with that because it's really cute. And I have this one. This is my newest one. This is Baby Baffy. And this was done by an awesome tattoo artist here in Redmond at Illuminati Tattoos. Her name is Dusty. If you need a tattoo, highly recommend. She's awesome. She's an awesome person, so that's fun. Yeah, this was just a walk-in. This is just one of her own designs, and it was just too cute. This one was a custom one, but it's one of her own designs, and he's super cute, and I love him. I have this one here, which is just a little skull animal bunny that I got in Las Vegas when we went, because why not? And the last one I have on the top is this little watercolor rainbow butterfly. And that is a tattoo for my great aunt, who was just so awesome. She passed away last year, sadly, but she got her first tattoo when she was like in her 80s. And it was a rainbow butterfly right there. And it was my favorite memory because it was when I was like 16, I think, 15 or 16. And I'd just gotten my lip pierced, right? And I went over to go see my grandma, who was... But luckily, it got overshadowed by the fact that her sister, who was 80, got a tattoo on her shoulder. And she was so excited about it, and I love it. Especially because she was a super, super Christian. She was Lutheran, and by the time she hit 80, she was just like, you know what? I want a butterfly tattoo. I'm getting one. And I love it. It was super sweet. So when she passed, I got this done up in Long Beach, Washington, which I think technically it's a town over from where she lived, but it was, you know, near where she got hers done. I'm not sure if it was the same person who did it, but yeah, that was really fun. It was sad, obviously, because we were up there for her funeral, but it was nice to be able to sit down or to be able to go over and get that done for her while we were there in kind of the spot that she really loved. So that was fun. And getting to see the place, it's really cute. It's a really cute little town, and I kind of want to move there. Like, if I got a chance to move, it would definitely be out of Oregon. It would definitely probably be to Washington, because I like Washington a lot. But it might honestly be to Long Beach, because it's just gloomy enough, because, you know, it's the coast and it's always gloomy, that I could probably work during the day without risk of burning my skin off because I am a vampire. Oh, this little shovel thing, right? This little scooper that works really nicely for this. I'm not making as big of a mess as expected inside. Luckily, vinyl floors, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, hi, baby. I can just sweep it up. But this came with the little Ohuhu kit too, and this is really nice. It has the shovel on one side and then like a seating fork on the other, so you can like make sure that you can get your seeds in properly and the right depth and size instead of having to like dig it out with your fingers. So I think the kit was like, I think it was less than $20, which, considering I got this one here for $20 too, and it didn't come with anything but the little seating trays and the covers and a little water catcher, I would say that's a solid win, because the Ohuhu one came with that, with these, with the little shovel, with a different little shovel, with the markers, with the humidity domes. Like, 10 out of 10 on these things. They're a pretty good start there, I think. Definitely worth your money. Oh, and then, because I can ramble for an actual eternity, I have 3 tattoos on my legs. 2 of them were, like, couch tattoos. A guy who I really consider to be, like, a brother to me. He doesn't live here anymore, which is sad, and I miss him. Caleb, if you see this, I love you and miss you. Please come back and visit me, or I will cry. He did my first ever tattoo, and it was on an old friend's couch, and it is a heart with an infinity sign, right? Very, very basic, but, you know, it has a lot of meaning, and it's on my upper thigh right here. And so my favorite part about that tattoo is actually 3 people who meant a lot to me at the time I had it done, and so, you know, still mean quite a bit to me now, even though we don't, you know, talk very much anymore. Had a part in it, and so Caleb, my brother, he did the tattoo. My friend Mike drew it on my leg in Sharpie, which I'm not sure is smart or safe to tattoo over Sharpie, so, like, don't do that. Because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to, I guess. He drew it on there. And then it was done at one of my other friends' houses. And so for the longest time, it was, actually to this day, it's probably my most sentimental, that I hold it really dear. So that That's probably my most sentimental one. The other one on the same leg, it's on my calf here, is a dream catcher that I drew that has the goddess symbol on it, or around it, and then the center is a pentagram, the center of the dream catcher, and then it has the 2 crescent moons on either side for the goddess symbol. So that one was my first professional tattoo, and I think it was my second tattoo that I have ever had. And so that one was fun. I almost fell asleep during it, but it was fun. I liked that one. It's pretty. It needs touched up, but it's pretty. And then my last tattoo is on this thigh here, and it is the Deathly Hallows from Harry Potter, and it's the A in Always, and it's written in a really pretty cursive. It's one of my friend's handwriting. So there's that, and that was my third tattoo. And again, another couch tattoo, because I'm not smart. Those ones, the 2 couch tattoos are pretty faded though, so just keep that in mind if you're ever gonna do it. Definitely get a professional, because they can get infected and it's not a good thing to do at home. Same thing with piercings, because I know almost everyone I know has a home piercing or tattoo or something. But just go to a professional. It's worth it. It costs as much as getting anything, and it'll be nicer and prettier and last longer, and it won't hurt you. So go to a professional. Do as I say, not as I do. There's a lot of seeds in this packet, so I'm just gonna go through and add some more here, because I added 5. I'm not sure how many of these I should be adding. It says 3 plants, but it doesn't say how many seeds per cell. So I guess we're just gonna see how many of them actually grow and go from there. I mean, you can never have too much sage, so I use a lot. Not only do I use sage in cooking everything, but smudging and all of the other things you can use sage for, so I don't feel too bad about having ample amounts of that one. I'm worried I planted the other ones too deep anyway, so we'll just pretend I did this right and I know what I'm doing. This is not a tutorial. None of my things are tutorials. Alright, next one is dill. And the next on the list, have you ever gotten drunk and online shopped? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. I don't tend to do it often, and it was because the couple of times that I bought really stupid things. I don't know if you guys remember the anti-drug commercial from the 90s or 2000s, where it has the guy who's calling in really, really stoned and buys 5 or buys 10 monkey piggy banks, and he's just really happy with himself about it while he's high. Yeah, that's me when I'm drunk and buying things on Wish, usually, because it's the only time I really will spend a lot of money on Wish, because I'll be like, this looks cool, I want it. And I won't spend the time to read the reviews to be like, oh, that's not really what it is, because it never is. And so I ended up with, so let me preface this by saying it's not my fault. I wasn't intending on getting this drunk, but my friend Haley and I were playing D&D and nobody else showed up. So instead of playing D&D, we just drank and we just drank and shopped, which was probably really stupid. But, it was a fun day. And we, so I got a cloak off of Wish. And not a good quality cloak, right? It's Wish. I still want a cloak. I want a good quality, I'm probably gonna make one. I'm gonna make quite a few, actually, because I want to wear cloaks in my daily life because they're super cozy and they just feel powerful. Same thing with trench coats. I do love the trench coat I got from Good Goth, too. It has the same kind of feeling, though, of mysterious and kind of old-fashioned, and I'm always for that. But, yeah, I got a cloak, a very bad quality Halloween kind of cloak on Wish for, I think I spent like $15 on it, and it's definitely one of like the Dracula capes that you can get in store on Halloween, because it's like the crushed, cheap red velvet kind that you can get for like $10 around Halloween. But no, I really wanted one, and it looked really nice on the listing, right? Because it's Wish and everything looks really nice on the listing. And then you get it, and like expectation versus reality, it is not the same thing at all. You know what? We're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with it and only plant those three. I don't care. The rest of you, I'll water you. So yeah, there was that experience, and then there was a whole bunch of clothes that I bought from Wish when I was drunk, which, in all honesty, I'm not mad about. I still have and wear to this day one of the skirts that I got from Wish that is really cute and actually pretty decent quality. And I was really shocked by the fact that it was actually pretty decent quality. And it's really cute. It has like little crescent moons and then the sulfur symbol from alchemy. You know, the one that's looks like the satanic cross, but it's sulfur. The symbol for sulfur and alchemy. That one. And it's really cute, and I really like it. So I don't regret that. But yes, needless to say, I have gotten drunk and online shopped before, and it's never for things that are actually needed or usually very smart. So, next is, what fashion trend do you hate? And so it's not really a trend, right? I really hate, like, I don't hate it, right? It is entertaining. But I don't like 90% of, like, the high fashion things. Like, a lot of Gucci or Louis Vuitton or stuff like that. I think not only is it super overpriced, and you don't need that to spend that much on anything. Granted, I'm cheap, obviously, but, like, you don't need to spend that much on anything. But when they do things like, I'm not sure what the brand is, but the toe shoe stiletto heels. These. I will link Sophia Nygaard's video about them below, because that's where I first saw them, and I have never had my brain shut down so much just from seeing something so stupid in my life. So anything like that, where it's just like weird, and then they charge a whole bunch for something that's like super ugly, right? Like, nobody needs stiletto toe shoes. They're not comfortable, they're not cute. Like, what's the point to them? And then they're overly priced because they're a bunch of name brands, you know, collabing, and collabs are great, but no one needs it. I think it's really stupid. The other thing that I find really stupid in, like, fashion trends is the, like, digital clothing, right? Like, I can see the appeal to it, right? To be able to have, it's like buying clothes in a video game for your character, right? Only you can put these on, like, your actual pictures. And I can see the appeal to that, right? But I can't justify the amount that they charge for a lot of it. Like, you're talking hundreds of dollars for something that you will never actually be able to wear, just to, you know, gain, like, internet clout or whatever the term is now, because I am not hip with the kids or the trends. Obviously, it's not my specialty. But, like, that seems pretty stupid. It's like the NFTs, is that what they are? The like, digital pictures that they're selling? Or digital graphics? It's like that, but in clothing form, which, like, again, I could see being a fun thing if, you know, you're if it wasn't so expensive, right? Because, like, I bought clothes for characters in, like, IMVU back in the day. Like, I had some pretty cool clothes from Hot Topic that I couldn't actually buy, so I bought for my character. Alright, so our next one is parsley. And we're gonna just do all of these in one big go because they're all kind of attached. And I could break them apart, but I don't want to, so. And then our next question is, if you won $1 million, what would you spend it on? So yeah, a land with some animals, probably some, like, maybe some horses. I do like horses. I'm scared to ride them, though, so, because I had a traumatic event when I was a child where they ran me into a tree. And I think I still have a bit of brain damage from it. Brain damage from it. But I think after getting settled, right, and putting away enough money for college, for Tanner's daughter, and paying off my student debt, which is all very boring adult stuff, right, and not the meaning of this question whatsoever. I think probably travel. A lot of travel. There's a lot of places that I want to go, especially, like, traveling internationally, because I've never been out of the United States. I've been to a lot of places in the United States, which, you know, the United States is huge, so that is, you know, a lot of traveling. But I really want to go to Europe. I want to go. I really want to go to Ireland. That's where my family's from. And I'd like to see the county that they came from, because it wasn't that long ago that they, I think it was like 3 or 4 generations ago that they came to America, so I'd like to see where I'm from. Same thing with Germany. I'd love to go see Germany, since that is where my mom's side of the family's from. And it's supposed to be very pretty. Both places, though, I'm scared of their food, so. Yeah. That'd be a problem. Which is actually my problem with traveling internationally a lot. Because I also really, really, really want to go to Japan. I want to go so bad. I have ever since I was an infant child. And the only problem with that is that they eat a lot of fish. And I am very allergic to anything that comes from the water. So I can't eat a lot of Japanese food, and so I don't want to go to Japan until I can speak very, very fluent Japanese, so that I can, you know, make sure I'm not going to get poisoned, which would be nobody's fault but my own, but it's an irrational fear that I have always had about traveling to other countries and not being able to speak the language, is that I have a lot of food allergies, and, like, only one bad one, right? Fish is the only one that could, you know, hospitalize me. Shellfish, fish, anything like that. But I'm also allergic to beans, which is the weirdest allergy, and in a lot of food. And most people don't think to include it in, like, allergy listings, right? Baby girl. In allergy listings, because it's not one that people tend to be allergic to. And then I'm allergic to pineapple. So that sucks too, because I really like pineapple, because that's an allergy that I gained. It's not necessarily an allergy, it is that when I was in high school, I was on a medication that absolutely destroyed my stomach lining. And so now I can't eat pineapple either. So, like, I have a whole bunch of food allergies, and my biggest fear is going to another country and not speaking the language and ending up getting sick and then not being able to enjoy said vacation. So, I feel the need to learn fluently the language of any country that I'm going to, so that I know that I'm going to be okay, because I wouldn't blame anyone else for me not speaking the language, you know, and not knowing. So, this is not even the question. I'd love to go to Ireland, I'd love to go to England, Italy I think would be fun, and Germany. I really want to go to Prague as well, because one of my favorite books, Daughter of Smoke and Bones, it takes place in Prague, and it sounds just beautiful, and I'd love to go and see some of the places that actually exist. Alright, we're back. I have no idea where we left off, so we're just gonna move on to the next herb and the next question. The next herb is chives, garlic chives. And the next question if you had to replace your hand with a kitchen instrument, what would it be? And honestly, that's probably the single best question I have ever read in my life. And it would probably be a spatula. Because not only would I be able to hit people's butts more efficiently, which would be a plus, I'm always losing my dang spatula when I'm cooking. Don't ask me how. I don't go anywhere. It's not like I take it out of the kitchen. I'll just set it down, and then my brain goes, it doesn't exist anymore. You don't get to have that anymore. It doesn't exist. And then I can't find it. So, if I could just attach it to my hand like Eric Foreman attaches a beer stein to his, that would be fantastic. Now, granted, if I had to replace both of them instead of just one, I think I would probably choose a spatula for one hand and a knife for the other, right? Like a big old kitchen knife, a very sharp one. Because, like, the spatula you could still use to, like, get things done, but the knife is good for self-defense. And also, you would never end up going for a picnic and forgetting the knife so you can't cut your sandwich. It's a very specific reason, but it's happened more times than any other thing besides maybe losing my spatula in the kitchen. And so I think that would be a lovely use of my other hand, but going to the bathroom might be a little bit difficult. But you know, that's what you have the spatula hand for. It's still good to just things with. So you have the slicey hand and the flipping hand. I think that's my most thoroughly answered on-topic question. And it's about the the stupidest topic, but I think that is the right answer. There is a right answer, and it's that. So, fight me. But don't, I'm a pacifist. I'll cry. Alright, so we're just about done with the chives. So we also have oregano and bunch onions, which, I don't know, I've never heard them called bunched onions. We've always called these green onions. And maybe it's just, I don't know, we might be wrong, but I've never heard them called bunched onions. It makes sense. But so does green onion, so, So we're gonna go on to those and do the green onions. And our next question on the list, which is, do you have a significant other? And if so, where did you meet them? So yes, I do have a significant other. I have a amazing, wonderful boyfriend. His name is Tanner. He's super sweet. And we met in high school, actually. No, we didn't, like, date in high school. We were just really good friends all through high school. And, we spent a whole bunch of time together. Like, I've known him for, Jesus, probably like 10 years now. And we've been dating for 2.5 5-ish years. It was December 2019, right before the catastrophe of Rona hitting, so that was fun. But yeah, we met in high school. He was dating one of my really good friends at the time, which is a whole different situation. And years later, after they'd been broken up, I was sharing memes on Facebook for the first time because I just gotten out of a bad relationship where I wasn't really able to like spend any time on social media, right? Not like I do anything on social media, but besides share stupid memes, like I don't do anything else. But and so I was sharing just a metric hecton of memes on my page. And all of a sudden, I just get notification of Tanner like this, Tanner like this, Tanner like this, Tanner like this. And just on a whim, I hadn't talked to him in probably 2 or 3 years at that point. I was just like, hey bro, what's up? You liking a lot of my stuff. How are you doing? Haven't seen you in forever. And he was just like, I don't know, Facebook was just showing me all of your stuff, which I'm still secretly sure that he was looking at my page. And didn't think about it and just kept hitting like. But, so I was like, oh, well, it's really cool to see you. He was having a hard time at the time because he was struggling with his own life stuff. I'm like, well, if you ever need to, why don't we just hang out, man? We haven't seen each other in a long time. Let's hang out. Why don't you come over? We can watch YouTube or something and just chill. So he came over at the very beginning of December. It is Oregon, so it is freezing. It is icy, slushy, snowy, and he walks to my house. And we just chill for a while, watch Gabriel Iglesias and Hell of a Boss. No, not Hell of a Boss. Has Been Hotel. Hell of a Boss wasn't out yet. And comedy shows or whatever. And just, I'll have dinner and just chill out, relax. We have a good time. And then we realize that it is 1 a.m. And it is iced over, and he's like, I'm gonna head out. And I'm like, no, you're not. You have holes in your shoes. I'm not letting you walk when it's been raining and snowing for the last, 3 hours. I'm not gonna let you walk in this. And he's like, I'll be fine. I've been walking everywhere. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not doing the thing. I will not let you. You can stay here, you can sleep on the couch, or you can just, sleep here. I don't really care. I've known you forever. It's not like you're a stranger to me. And so he ends up staying the night, and nothing happens besides him looking back at me while we are watching a show and going, you want a spoon? And sticking his butt out at me like the little dork he is. And, yeah, and he stays the night, and then he's just here. And he just stays here, and we don't even think about it. And then about a month later, we're filling out an application for his work, for him to, a new job application. And it asked for his address. I'm like, wait a minute, do you live here? And he's like, I don't know, do I? I'm like, I guess so. I mean, you've been here for a month, so I think that means you live here. He's like, does that bother you? I'm like, not really. If it bothered me, you wouldn't still be here. So, about 3 days after he's here, I come home from work and curl up with him on the couch, and he just looks over at me and he's like, so what are we? And the highest pitched, dorkiest voice that he can manage. And me being the shy little 12-year-old that I am, just like, I don't know, what are we? And we never answer the question, but obviously, we're together now. We've been together for 2.5 years. Still not official. But yeah. Yeah, we met in high school. We've been together for a while now. We live together. We're looking to get our own place, and I'm really happy. It's a very fun relationship. Like, it doesn't feel like it's not a struggle. It's nothing but happiness, which is a weird thing for me. I don't know. Relationships for me have always felt very like responsibility. Like it's something that needs to. I've been in one long-term relationship before Tanner. I didn't date a lot of great guys. You know, it happens. Everyone has their bad exes. I'm just stupid and don't think about it a lot. So I'd had one long-term relationship prior to Tanner, so a year was like a really big deal to me because I'd only had one other relationship that lasted more than a year. Now this is officially my longest relationship, and quite honestly, I'm probably gonna last. Hi, that's dirt. You can't have it. It's dirt. You can't have it. And we went to a really cute little resort in Sisters, which is a little ear, not your ear, is a little like tourist town about 20 minutes from here, and it's all old western aesthetic. They definitely leaned into the Oregon Trail thing and kept it. So we went there, and they have a really cute little resort called Five Pines, where they have like little like private cabins that you can get, and it has, God, they're expensive. They're like $200, $300 a night, but it is so pretty. It's very secluded. It's very nice. The bathroom, top tier, fantastic. It's beautiful. The shower has like 5 different shower heads. Granted, we did get the like honeymoon suite. It was like the lay down, Yuri. Lay down, baby. Lay down. You can't have this. These are seeds. You can't have this either. No. So we got the like romantic cabin, and there's like a bathtub in the living room, but it was a really nice bathtub, a classy bathtub. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We spent 2 nights there. And not only was the hotel room just really nice, right? Like, we didn't want to leave. We spent a lot of money, and it was really nice. But we went and explored Sisters, because it's a little tourist town, and they have a bunch of really cool shops. And so there's one shop that sells a bunch of, like, dragon stuff, and knives, and swords, and fun stuff like that. It's just a whole like amalgamation shop, right? And we got him a Nordic battle axe because, and we just wandered around and had a really nice time. It was just really nice to be able to spend a weekend away in a place that we hadn't really gotten to go to since high school, because we had a music festival that we went to, that we were a part of. Sisters Folk Festival, because we were in guitar club and music stuff, so Tanner and I went to the folk festival in high school, and it was really nice to just go back and be able to explore a place that we hadn't been to in years, and really didn't get to explore outside of that, because we drive through it a lot when we go camping or something, but never really stop and enjoy it. So that was really fun, and because it was our first anniversary, we've made it a kind of like tradition that we're gonna go there for our anniversary every year. We didn't go last year though, because we couldn't afford to go with Christmas too, so we just decided we were gonna take a break for last year. But yeah, we're gonna go again this year, and that's kind of our tradition. And I like that we have one of those from like our first anniversary. I think it's really cute. Is it super, is it a little cheesy? Yeah, it is, and I'm okay with that. Alright, the next one we're working with is rosemary. And our next question is, have you ever considered moving abroad? And the answer is a resounding yes. Resounding yes. If I could, I would 100% move to a different country. Not necessarily because I dislike America. Like, I do, but that's not why. So I really like being able to explore other cultures. I really want to be able to explore different cultures, and I feel like the only way to like properly explore another culture is to kind of like live with it, right? Like live among it. Because like you can visit a country, but you won't really get the same experience as if you were to live there. And I would love to move to Ireland, which is just like my personal one. I've never been there though, so like I don't want to say that it's like my favorite place because I've never been there, so I can't tell that for sure. But I think it's really pretty, and I love that it's rainy and green and snowy, and I love it. Not to mention I really like Irish folklore, and I think that would just be fun to be able to like hear about from people who like grew up with it. Right? I also like to live in like maybe England, but I've never really been to another country, so I can't really say for sure. But I think I would like the opportunity to, you know. I had thought about for a while moving to Canada, you know, just because, like, it's close, but it's still not here. And I have a couple of friends who live in Canada, so that would be fun to be able to see them more often. But, yeah, as far as moving to another country, I 100% would, but I'd want to visit first for like an extended period of time, like minimum 2 weeks. I'd prefer like a month or two to like see if it's a place that I'd really want to be long term, because like I think everyone's heard the stories about like people who move to the coast, right? Like move next to the ocean because they liked it when they went on vacation there with their family, and then they move there and it's awful and they hate it. And I feel like that's something that could really happen with moving to another country, only you're not able to leave that as easily, because, like, you have to move to another country if you don't like it. So, along the lines, if I could move anywhere in the United States, again, it would probably be Long Beach, Washington, like that area. Long Beach, Washington, or Astoria, Oregon, they're across the bridge from each other, but I love that area. We were there for probably 4 days, and it was gorgeous. It was so rainy, and there were so many trails to walk, and so many, like, little witchy stores around, which was really funny. I wasn't expecting there to be so many, like, witchy, Wicca-based stores, which made me really happy. So, that one I know for sure, if I got the opportunity to move, that would be where I'd want to live. Because I've been there and I know that I like it. But as far as moving abroad, a tentative Ireland, because I can't say for sure. And I'm sure anyone who lives in Ireland would say the opposite. You know, because I at least from the couple of Irish YouTubers that I do watch are either no longer living in Ireland, or they didn't like it, or they're trying to move away from it. So, like that, I think that's definitely personal preference, but I think I'd like it. Alright, the next question is, who is your favorite YouTuber? Well, that's a good segue. And the next herb is peppermint. So I have a lot of YouTube channels that I watch a lot. Probably the one that I watch the most, just all of the time, is the theory channel, game theory, film theory, and food theory. Like, I have watched and probably know every single word for every one of the horror game theories, right? Because I watch them so often. As well as the horror film theories, I really like those. So that is probably my favorite channel series. So, to MatPat being one of them. I like that it's all science-y based and educational because I'm a sucker for science. Like, my favorite streaming service is Discovery for the science channels. So I watch at work when there's the science channel. I also really like, what you can probably tell from, like, my channel, I really like Toxic Tears. I think Kaya is just a gorgeous human being. And she's just the sweetest person, like, in her videos, obviously. I've never met her. I follow her on Instagram and religiously watch her stories because I just enjoy her. I also love Rachel Maskey? I can't pronounce her last name. This gorgeous individual here. And her channel below. All of their channels will be below. I absolutely love her. She is the most adorable person, and I can relate very hard to most of the content that she releases. I also love sewing videos. Obviously, that was like the first thing that I did on this channel was a sewing video. And so I like that she is just jerry-rigged enough for me to feel like it's me doing it, and that we'd get along, because I have no experience, but can figure it out. Let's see, who else do I watch a lot? I watch a lot of Morgan Donner. It's another sewing channel, but she does historical clothing. A lot of, like, 15th and 16th century clothing, because I am a sucker for historical fashion. And she is super sweet, too. Just, they're so wholesome. Like, don't get me wrong, I used to, like, watch a lot of, like, Markiplier and PewDiePie, and the swearing and cursing, and all of that stuff was funny, right? But there's something so sweet about wholesome content that I can just get behind. Speaking of wholesome content, there is also Nerdy Crafter that I watch a lot. I think that she is pretty awesome. I like all of her, like, fidget toy unboxings and craft kit testings, which I might do on this channel too. Mostly because I have the undying urge to throw my money at them anytime I'm in the stationery section at work. So we might have to do that just so I have an excuse to actually buy them, because I never got them as a kid. And I know why, because they're a waste of money, but I'm an adult and can waste my money if I want to. So I enjoy those. I enjoy watching Graveyard Loon, another craft channel, but he does more of the, like, he's a little more of the dark side, creepy, cute stuff, which I can always get behind, because I would say that is 90% of what I would consider my aesthetic is creepy, cute. So I watch him anytime he puts out a new video. And Moira Elizabeth, I watch all of her videos too. Let's see. I watch a lot of craft channels. Mostly because, like, whatever I watch on YouTube is what I will be doing at the time. So if I watch sewing videos, I'm gonna make sewing videos. If I watch crafting videos or painting videos, that's what I'm gonna want to do. And so, like, depending on what my interest is that week, depends on what the channel is. Unrelated, I really love Game Grumps and Jontron. I religiously listen to Ninja Sex Party and Starbomb while I'm at work. Luckily, I work nights in a closed-off area, so nobody can see or hear me singing Ninja Sex Party or Starbomb songs while I'm there, because I do sing. Jontron, just a classic. I always love his videos. Anytime one comes out, I watch it that day. Which is new. I actually didn't watch him until Tanner and I started dating, because Jontron's one of his favorites. And I'd never watched him before, but now he is one of my favorites as well. Let's see, I also like commentary channels, so I really like Danny Gonzalez. I love his music too, like top tier comedy music. Danny, 10 out of 10. And Curtis Connor, Cody Ko, Drew Gooden, that whole selection of commentary white boys. My baby. I think that is the majority of the channels that I watch. Cinnamon Toast Ken. Cinnamon Toast Ken. That's where I get my reality TV show dose. But that is a majority. I don't know where this left off, but we're done with the peppermint, and we're moving on to lavender. And we are approaching the end of this jaunt here, so do you like horror movies, and what's your favorite? If you do. Yes, I like horror movies. I really, really like horror movies. When I was in middle school, which was when I first started watching horror movies, that is kind of all I watched. Me and my friend Donovan would watch every horror movie that we could get our hands on. Good, bad, mostly bad. Anything that they had at Blockbuster. Or that his mom got at work. So that was awesome. I have a couple of ties for favorite horror movie. My first one is the Nightmare on Elm Street series, not counting the remake. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It could be just because Freddy Krueger is extremely sarcastic and makes really bad puns while he kills, and so, like, it kills me. Because I love me a good bad pun. So, Nightmare on Elm Street series, excluding, I think, the second one. I wasn't a huge fan of the second one. But I will fight anyone on Dream Warrior. I loved Dream Warrior. I still do. It's bad, but I loved it. Another one that I really, really, really like. I really like Wes Craven. He's one of my favorite directors. I really like, I know the name. My Soul to Take. I loved that movie when I watched it the first time. I have it. I used to watch it so often. And I think why I like it is because you're not entirely sure, even in the end, if it is a ghost, a spirit, or a demon, or if it's just mental illness that is causing, you know, the murders. Like, there's the big twist ending, which I won't ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen this, like, 15-year-old movie, and if not, highly recommend it. It's really good. But you're not really sure what happens, and I like that it leaves it up to interpretation on what's going on with it. I also like that it draws, like, attention to certain mental illnesses. I think specifically, associative identity disorder, which is commonly known as multiple personality disorder. And the fact that it is not a, you're not going to become a serial killer if you have multiple personality disorder, that you can, that it's a struggle, right? But you're not going to, kill anyone. Which is very commonly used in horror as a trope, so I appreciated it kind of just turning it on its head. I also liked the idea that the main bad guy's soul went into 8 different children for his 8 different personalities, which I thought was a pretty fun take on it. Or like, not like, as a, oh, this is definitely what's going on with it, but like as a creative choice for the movie, as a creative choice for it. I appreciate the new take on it. So 10 out of 10 on that one, would recommend. I also really love the first Haunting in Connecticut. And it's super sad. I cried really, really hard during that movie the first time I watched it. It's not even funny. Like, it has a happy ending, don't get me wrong. There is a happy ending to it, but just to get to the happy ending is woof. There's a lot. And I would really like the second one too, like story-wise. I really don't think you can call it Haunting in Connecticut 2 Ghosts of Georgia and have it make sense, right? Like, it does miss out on the parts that I really like from the first one. Jonah, specifically. I love Jonah. And, like, I love that whole thing, right? That was such a good story. And, like, they say it's based on a true story. I don't know how true that is, but, like, God, I loved that one. That is... I saw that one when it first came out. We got it on Redbox. And it has continued to be my favorite movie. And I think I actually have 2 copies of it on DVD. Because I was worried about burning through the first one, so I bought it again. I also really like The Grudge. That was one I watched a lot when I was a kid. One of the first movies that I watched, and I actually got... So I have The Grudge 1 and 2 in both English and the original Japanese one. And those were from my friend Donovan when he was cleaning out his horror movie supply. He gave them to me. And I still have them. They are in storage, but I still have them. And I have watched them a lot. And then I think for the final horror movie that's like on my top 5 list would probably be The Babadook. I really liked The Babadook. I don't know why. It just something there struck a chord with me, and I have enjoyed it very much ever since. It's one where someone's like, I want to watch a horror movie. I'm like, watch this one. It is so good. So, alright. We're moving on to the next one, which is Spearmint, I believe. Spearmint. And our next question, favorite song or band? Or song and band. So, I mentioned that I listen to a lot of Ninja Sex Party, mostly because I need something that makes me laugh while I'm at work in order to not want to shoot myself while I'm at work. So that is probably my hype music, and I would consider them probably one of my favorite bands. Another one of my favorite bands would probably be Black Veil Brides. I mean, I've seen them in concert a couple of times. I don't listen to a lot of their music anymore, but I have 2 or 3 of their records on vinyl still, and all of their CDs, and I had merch for days. I have posters 4 days from when I was in high school. And I still really appreciate the music and I still like it. I'm just not as into music as I used to be. Mostly because music makes me sad a lot now, unless it's intentionally supposed to be, funny. Which is sad, because I like music, I like playing music, I like playing instruments, but music makes me sad. I do like listening to and still listen to a lot of Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance. I listen to them religiously. I also love Ghost Town. I haven't listened to any of their new stuff in a while, but like Ghost Town from a couple years ago, I really liked that. And let's see, who else do I listen to? I listen to Sleeping with Sirens and Pierce the Veil. And I listen to Blink 182. Blink 182. Simple Plan. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, I listened, basically, if the kids who got made fun of in 2000 to 2010 listened to it, I probably listened to it still. As far as I think my favorite song, not for a sentimental reason, but just one that I really, really like, is Danny Gonzalez's Yummy, making fun of Justin Bieber's Yummy. And that's because that one just constantly will forever and always bring a smile to my face. Because that is just the funniest song to me. Most of Danny Gonzalez's songs, if we're being honest, I listen to a lot. I have a playlist that is just Danny Gonzalez, Danny Sexbang, Aaron. That's all of my comedy songs. It also has Bo Burnham on it. I like a lot of Bo Burnham songs still. So yeah, definitely, I listen to comedy songs more than anything else. Weird Al. Because that's just what makes me happy, and I would prefer to be happy wherever I can get the serotonin from. So, right, we're moving on to Lemon Bomb. And the next question is, how do you spend your free time? And so, I guess you could say I spend my free time making these videos. Like, this is what I do in my free time. So I spend it doing art or sewing. Anything that I do on this channel is what I do in my free time, and I just record it because I enjoy editing as well, and I like filming. Something about the setting up to film and making sure the shots are nice, and lighting. I really like lighting. I did it in high school in theater, because yes, I did theater in high school, if anyone's surprised. I did lighting a lot. For my first year in theater, I was the lighting technician and did all of that, which was fun. And I have not gotten over how much fun I think that is. But I also watch a lot of YouTube, obviously. And I listen to a metric hecton of audiobooks. I consume audiobooks like normal people consume water. And I want to start on this channel, and I might do it soon. It's been on my list of video ideas since way before I started this channel. And it is to do a weekly book club, where I just kind of sit down and talk about the books that I've read that week. But I'm overwhelmed because there are so many that I want to talk about, because I have so many that I really like and want to share that I don't know which one to pick. And then I can't pick a favorite, because it's like picking a child and then having to kill the other ones, even though the other ones will get their time. But I think I need to bite the bullet and actually just sit down and pick one to talk about, because once I've done one, I'll be fine. I know I'll be fine if I just sit down and start. I'm thinking that I might start with... I mean, I really do want to talk about Daughter of Smoke and Bones, because I want to get... Since that's been one of my favorites for a long time, and I want to get a tattoos, plural, for that book series, and I love the war and the love and the rebellion. A lot of mine are... All of them are fantasy, but a lot of them have to do with war and rebelling, overthrowing the government, stuff like that. The usual stuff. I know as we're doing Lemon Balm now. So I might start with that one, since I know that one. I wouldn't have to re-listen to that one. I have listened to that one so many times that I can quote and do quote parts from that book that nobody else knows. I don't know anybody else who has read that book. I'm sure people have, but I don't know anyone else. Let alone have read it well enough to be able to, or enough times to be able to quote it like a movie. Or to just have it randomly pop into their head for, quotes randomly. So, I'll probably start there. I should just write that script. I really should. So I could do that series, because I know it very well. I'd also like to do a recent series that I've read. The Ash Princess series. I'm not sure what the series itself called. The first book in the series is Ash Princess. And I love that story. It is definitely a rival for one of my favorite books. The only thing that keeps it from being the favorite is that it doesn't have the sentimental value that Daughter of Smoke and Bones does have. So, that is what's saving it right now. I'd also love to talk about Kingdom of Coral and Pearl, because that was a really good series. And I have noticed in a lot of fantasy, because I listen to mostly young adult fantasy, because that's just where my interests tend to lie. Was there just a meeting that you have to include the same names in everything? It gets really confusing when I'm listening to one book, and Soren is the evil prince, but in the other book, he is the exiled Fey prince of the Alder King, and then in another book, it's the name of a place, and in another book, it's the love interest. Run into the same problem with the name Alara. So in Coral and Pearl, it is the name of a place, as well as a princess from a long time ago who died, and that's what really starts the story. And then in the book series I just read, it is the name of an evil queen. Did we all just cumulatively decide that these are the names we're going to use for fantasy? Because, I'm not opposed to it, but I need to know. Alright. And we are on our... No! We are on to our very last one, which I was saving for last because it is my favorite. And that is Chamomile. This was really just a long-winded excuse for me to have an herb garden for just tea in my house. The entire top layer here is for nothing but tea. I think that's the last question. No. Okay, so we have one more. And that is, are you religious? And if so, what is it? And I am tentative about this. So I am Wiccan. I have been for a very long time. Probably since 6th grade. I am now almost 25, so it has been a while. I'm not a good Wiccan, nor do I feel like I know anything about what I'm doing, but it's what I most identify with, and what I think has the most probability of being true. However, I also like to think that whatever happens to us when we die is what we want to happen to us. I like to think that the afterlife is a call center, and wherever you want to go is where they transfer you, or wherever you think you should go. So that's where that comes from. I am totally cool with all religions, everything. I just personally think Wicca vibes most with me, and I think it's pretty, and I like the meaning behind it. You know, I like the morals behind it. Yeah, so I tentatively say Wiccan because I feel like I'm not great at it. You know, again, because of my habits to pick something up and drop it repeatedly, I feel like I don't put enough time into the study that I should. Like, I never don't believe it, right? Like, I never don't think about it or identify as it, but I just don't put as much time into it as I would like to, or as I feel like I should. So that is a little bit of a... Well, I don't like to say that. I would say that if anything, I am an eclectic Wiccan. I like to accumulate what I think works for me in my life and what I feel is true, and translate it into my own religion. And I tend to really enjoy the work of Scott Cunningham because that is how he teaches, how he functions, is if you don't like it or this doesn't fit into your views, that is totally okay. Find what does and use that. There is not one true way, and if anyone tries to tell you what they are, they're lying. So yeah, he's definitely on my top read list. I've read quite a few of his books. I have the audiobook version of a few of them, as well as the hardcover ones, so I can actually look at and take notes in them. I think what really keeps me from, like, being more open about being Wiccan is the fact that I forget quite often holidays. Because it's something that requires forethought, because I like to put, when I do something, I put a lot of time and energy into it, right? I spend quite a bit of time, and I would love to do, like, I will probably do a Beltane. I remember Beltane. I know Beltane's coming up, so I might do a Beltane type video to, like things to do for Beltane, you know, because I always have trouble thinking of ways to celebrate. And I would love to be able to do something like that, but I'll just go about my daily life, and because it's not something that, you know, is advertised, right? Like, I'm in a lot of witch groups now, so I get more advertisements for it now, like, hey, Beltane's coming up, what are y'all doing? And I'll be like, oh yeah, holidays. But because it was something that wasn't super available, or, like, the stores won't start selling stuff for Beltane, you know? I don't think about it until it's too late, which always sucks. I had the same problem with, for Astor, because I actually had a lot of ideas for videos to do, and I was super excited for it, actually, and then it came and went, and I'm sad because I didn't get to do it. But I'm going to actually start keeping it in my calendar so I can share it with you guys and come up with ideas for it, because that is one of the hardest things for me personally, is trying to find a good way to celebrate and traditions to make. Because that's the thing, is like for Christmas, because I grew up with Christmas being the holiday we celebrated, I think a lot of people did. and then came to Wicca, and, you know, we have Yule, but there was so many traditions that you had to, and ways that you celebrated, and then coming into Wicca, you don't have them anymore. You don't have a set traditions. Like, you have things that people are like, you can do this, but there isn't like a set thing that you do. And this is what I was actually going to do for the Ostar video, so it's just coming late. Like everything. And I would really like to be able to be like, here's what I do. Have some ideas to make something that you do, and something that's repeatable for me to do every year to look forward to. Because I think that's something that I really, really miss about having a more... It's the only thing that I miss. But having a more standardized religion is that, because that was nice, having something to look forward to and knowing what you were doing and having traditions. And I'd like to make my own that would fix that problem, but that requires being able to think ahead and do that. So alright, so that's kind of where we're ending this. I've gotten all of these planted. There'll probably be a couple of shots of me putting in all of the little tombstones to mark everything, and maybe replanting these strawberry boys. But as far as everything here goes, we are done. This is gonna be a long video. Ta-da! Alright, we are finished. It is the next day. I got all of our little tags hung up. I did not film this because this was the actual bane of my existence. Because I only had sewing thread, so we hung them with sewing thread. But yes, they're all hung. They look super cute. And they have been in the light for a couple of hours now, and oh boy, these lights are so bright. If you look at them for longer than like a full minute, it turns everything else you see green. So that's fun. But we are done. That was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you liked it, please like below and maybe consider subscribing. Maybe. And I will see you guys next week. Stay weird. Bye.